already know who it is. It's the radioactive pop with Danny Limelight, United Wrestling Network World Heavyweight Champion. And make sure you tune into the Alliance blog every week. You heard it here first. Straight from Poppy.
They want NWA? Let's give them NWA.
Who are those guys?
And then there's the other guys.
We're the other guys. We're the guys nobody ever bets on.
The following program is intended for mature audiences.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show.
It's time for the Other Alliance Guys podcast with your hosts, Tim, Dave, and Jeremy.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and what can we tell you? We are the Other Alliance Guys, a presentation of alliance-wrestling.com, your number one source for news and information around the National Wrestling Alliance, the United Wrestling Network, and various independents around the world. My name is Tim, and I am joined by the man that we refer to online as Wrestling with the MMA. His name is Jeremy. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing well. And yourself?
Yeah, I'm doing okay. I'm working, working for a living.
There you go.
And our fantasy booker extraordinaire, Dave Scooby. How are you, Dave?
Doing good for a Wednesday.
Yeah, it's not bad for a Wednesday. Wednesday sucks. I maintain Wednesday is the worst day of the week.
Yeah.
Because on Monday, you wake up in the morning, right? Just get right off topic, right off the bat here. You wake up in the morning, you think, well, maybe this week won't be as bad as last week. But by Wednesday, that's not true. So there you go. So, hey, Willie's in the chat. And what's Willie got to say? Oh, Willie. Willie says, Angelina Love and STD Dangerous Diana Taylor should form a tag team called Contaminated. Bless you, sir.
Bless you.
Yeah, that's a good one, Willie. I see you're branching out away from Tyrus. I respect that. The boss is here. What's up, Jay? You guys are, I just noticed it this second, Jeremy. You got yourself a haircut, buddy.
Yeah.
There's a serious crop right on the top there.
Yeah.
Jeremy just interviewed J Cal over on his channel. How'd that go?
That went pretty good the second time around.
I caught the first 10 minutes this morning before work, and I'll catch the rest later. But it seemed like you guys maybe did the whole thing, and the record button wasn't pushed.
Yeah, we're professionals, remember?
We're all professionals around here.
Yep. No, it was a lot of fun. We had a good conversation, and I kept it at about 25 minutes or so. I'm not trying to tie anybody up or take any mass amount of time away from anybody, but I'm trying to spread my wings a little bit and fly on my own. So
yeah, good for you.
Appreciate Jay for helping me in doing that.
Yeah, his piece of advice: always make sure you hit record.
Yep.
I'm sure he's made that mistake himself. I couldn't get the video to start there. I'm like, already we have technical difficulties, and the show hasn't even started. Willie says Tyrus is for next week, gentlemen, but Chris Adonis versus the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man at 312. You know what? Let's talk about that in a sec. We do have NWA Surge to get through today, and all of the debuts that we had on that show. It was like an all debut show. Then Jeremy's got Championship Wrestling from Jeremy, where he talks about the United Wrestling Network from Memphis and Hollywood. And Dave's going to talk some fantasy booking around Kerry Morton and Barrett Brown, the former and never defeated NWA World Junior Heavyweight Champion, which we've talked about in the past. And then all of a sudden, something seems to be brewing. So that's kind of cool. And hey, Poyo's in the house. Good to see you, Poyo. The manager of champions, the champion of managers, the amazing Poyo Delmar. Thank you for being here. So we're going to talk about all of those things. Let's just touch on power. Like, I know that Jay and company is going to to talk about that tomorrow night. But we had an amazing match, guys. Like right in the middle of that show I thought it was great with Tom Latimer and Rhett Titus. What did you think, Dave?
Both guys are amazing. It's one of those where you're like, I just want to see good wrestling. You're going to get good wrestling with both those guys in the same match or in separate matches. But I mean, the 6:05 time limit is the only thing I'm not really liking.
Yeah.
More. If you just give the TV title a 10-minute time limit, that's cool. I know they're doing the 6:05 for the TBS stuff, but I mean, it's not the same.
Yeah.
It isn't, but I
give them 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And they tell a good story. If it goes to a draw, it goes to a draw, but you get at least 10 minutes of good wrestling.
Yeah, I mean, and we've talked about it before, and we want a longer time limit on that thing. But I guess they did show that, if there's nothing more than just the wrestling and the pure competition, which I love sometimes, you can tell something of a pretty good story in that time, Jeremy. Like, what'd you think overall?
I actually haven't had a chance to sit down and watch it yet. I have had a hectic past 7 days. So I haven't had a chance to watch it yet, but I have caught a lot of comments online about it, and I will be tuning in as soon as we wrap up today to watch that one. So
yeah, another thing you're going to want to see is the ovation that a babyface Mike Knox gets when he comes into the arena, having turned on Cardona, and that's interesting. Like the crowd seemed energized. You've watched it so far, I think, Dave. So were you surprised? You go, whoa, he's kind of over suddenly.
I don't know if I was surprised, but I mean, he's just Knox is something that you're waiting to happen.
Right.
That he can go in the ring. He's done the bad stuff, quote unquote, but I mean, he's just a character. Seeing him do the apology to May last week, and I'm sorry, my wife said this and this. He's changing, and I mean, I think it's a good thing because now he's not under Cardona's thumb, and I mean, if anything, he could be the person that Cardona has to go through to get another championship, whether it be the 10 pounds of gold, go after the national title or TV title or whatever. If he wants to get a tag partner, he has to go through his old family member to get to that next step.
Yeah.
He wrestled really aggressively too. And he's one of those big brawler types, and in the past he's been very, but there was a level of aggression that he had that really looked good. And as Poyo had said, you don't need a big bill talking about Titus and Latimer for an exciting match. All you need is motivation as both men to win. Want to win. But for this, praise the audience on the second day of TV tapings. That first day's group was a Debbie Downer. And maybe that's as much as what we witnessed. It's not like they were energetic, but Poyo's right. That first group was just, I don't know. Nobody seemed to want to cheer for. It's like a Toronto crowd. Nobody cheers for anything. Just brutal. And bless their hearts, they sucked all the energy out of the room. Yeah.
And that sucks, because a crowd can do that. They can totally kill a show.
It's true. It's true. I don't know what it is with Canadian crowds. We're like, yeah, very nice job, everyone. We really liked that. No one's standing up. When I was a kid, I used to stand up in Maple Leaf Gardens. People would throw like beer cans at me because I'd stand for the Russian national anthem when Nikolai Volkov and the Iron Sheik were there. Pollo says day one audience was very enthusiastic to be there, but they were quiet as church mice. Okay, well that's at least they were enjoying themselves. That's good. We also saw Space Cowboy debuted. I know nothing about this guy, other than that he has the worst wardrobe that I've seen in a long, long time, which we were talking about before the show. What'd you think of him? Do you know him, Jeremy? Are you familiar with the guy?
No.
Yeah,
No.
I wasn't either, but he's a CYN guy, Dave. Any information about him before coming to the NWA?
No. I should have looked up. I know he has wrestled several times and he was with the CYN group, I believe, when they were in St. Louis for 74. He does have size. But I mean, if they're not pushing the control your narrative, I'd change up and just do bare basics. And I mean, he does need help with his quote unquote style. I don't know who is doing wardrobe, but they need to put some rules on what you can and what you cannot wear.
Some people call him the gangster of love. Pollo says, obviously, right there on the scene, Space Cowboy Stacy is a nice kid with some potential. He's been backstage with us for a good while, looking for an opportunity. Sad he got mauled by Knox. Who was doing wardrobe? Well, honey, we dress ourselves. Well, it is what it is, but maybe someone should have some oversight over our friend, the Space Cowboy. Hey, listen, NWA 312 coming up. We got 4 matches for that. I had no time to put the graphics up today, but I know that the world, or I'm calling it the World Women's Television Championship. I don't think the word world is being used on it yet, but regardless, the NWA Women's Television Championship finals, which will be Kenzie Page versus, I feel like I'm giving stuff away already, but like I'm not, just from TV that's already aired, versus Taya Valkyrie or Max the Impaler. We had some news about Taya Valkyrie I saw online just a couple of days ago, where it looks like she's headed to one of the big 2.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. You think she's going to go, Dave, to WWE or AEW?
I'm not really sure. I'm probably going to have to watch AEW tonight as they are in Canada, and there's supposed to be a female Canadian wrestler taking on, I guess, the Jade, the TV.
Yeah, Jade Cargill. Yeah,
Yeah.
all but undefeated. I think she might have lost one. I don't watch AEW, but that's what I remember.
But I mean, we'll see. I mean, I'm always looking forward to somebody getting a second chance or even a first chance at moving up. As much as I like the NWA, it's a stepping stone, whether you're going up or down.
Right.
Yep.
And I mean, if we can feature wrestlers or performers and it gets someone else's attention, more power to them.
100%.
I mean, like Kylan King is moving on, and I said congratulations, put it out on Twitter. Sad to see you go, but glad to see you go.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that if we're not going to be able to sign them, if we can use them for however long, it's good for us and it's good for them. And hopefully if things work out, she'll be there for a while. If things don't work out, she can always come back to the NWA.
That's well said. And I think we all feel that way. Pollo says Jade Cargill's like 56-0 or something, like 56-0 or something like that. So you know what, Jeremy? If Taya Valkyrie walks out tonight, when Jade Cargill says I'm the greatest thing that ever lived, I'm going home 57-0, and Taya comes out and says, "Hold my beer, my 7% alcohol beer." Then I'm good with that.
Yeah. I'm even if she doesn't win, that's a huge win for her, anyways. Just being able to show up for her home crowd, and challenge for a title. She's definitely capable of walking out of there with it. I don't think anyone's going to argue that point at all. And if anyone was going to add that one to it, it would definitely be Taya Valkyrie.
Yep. Yeah. And as Pollo kind of agrees here, not going to lie, I'd scream my brains out to see any of my NWA friends show up in that spot.
Yep.
Any one of them. Could you imagine Camille answering a challenge down the road? How cool that would be for everyone involved to see the AEW undefeated World Women's Champion just face off against the Brick House. How long has she had it now? Like, it's crazy. That'd be great.
How long has she had it?
We could look it up. It's well around a year and a half, I think.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Pollo said before that for that women's TV title tournament, remember that we taped before that, so it's still a toss-up between Max and Taya, which is cool. And it's 600 plus days. Yeah. According to the manager of champions. Yeah. And you know what? I'm just going to talk about Camille for a sec because she's going against La Rosa Negra, who also, she can go in the ring. Yeah. Camille has not only the most improved wrestler in the NWA for the last year or two, she steals the show on every card she's on now.
Yep.
And she's got great competition as well. And she's, she just seems to get better every time.
Yeah, she's not. That is one thing that I admire about her title run is she's not taking on slouches.
Right.
She's not going in and just having squash matches. She's going in and going up against valid, well-seasoned talent, and it's making her leaps and bounds better than she should be at this point, to be honest.
It's almost a problem because it's like, who's left?
Exactly. I'd love for Camille to show up on there and say, I can put the interior 57, 56 or however many I can put the interior streak. I'd probably keel over with a heart attack if she was to walk out and just be like, Bianca or Charlotte, I'm here to take what is mine now.
Yeah.
In the WWE, I would probably keel over.
Me too. Everyone's singing her praises. Pollo says Camille is becoming the face of the NWA, in my opinion, like Aldis did. Praise God. And Sam Retro's here. I did not see Camille doing any of this when she debuted at NWA 70.
Nope.
Neither did I.
Nope.
She didn't talk. She didn't wrestle. She didn't do. She looked intimidating and she looked great as Aldis's insurance policy. Yeah. It's so good to see her comes, all of this way and more power to her. Scion versus EC3, Jeremy. That's the one that is coming up for the national title. I don't know about this one. What do you think?
It'll be good competition for Scion. I don't really want him to lose to EC3.
Right.
I
want the thrill, Billy.
Yeah, I want the thrill Billy to take that. I want that to be his stepping stone to the world title.
Yep.
Where he rightfully belongs. But I do like the matchup between Scion and EC3. I think it'll be a good clash of styles, but still a good melding, a good complement to each other as well. I won't be surprised if EC3 walks out with it. but I won't be happy if he does. I mean, honestly, I'd rather see Thrillbilly go up against Scion for this and Scion hold on to it for a little longer.
I know that he's not what you would technically call a homegrown NWA guy.
Yeah.
But Scion certainly isn't, even though he was handpicked to kind of come in and be this character from the stuff he's done before. But
Right.
Thrillbilly feels like an NWA homegrown man, right? He really does to me like, who is this guy? And then like 2-3 months later, we're like, let's give this man a national title.
Been all of my life.
yeah, he's reached that.
I completely understand why Pollo just is completely head over heels for the man, because I am too.
It's going to be a solid match, Pollo says, and ain't no matter who comes out the winner. The Thrillbilly Silas Mason is your next NWA national champion. I agree. There you go. Oh, he is an NWA homegrown talent.
Good.
Well, okay. I'm gonna. You would know, that's for sure. I assumed that he had experience elsewhere that I wasn't aware about. I'm very narrow in my focus with the NWA and UWN, but anyway, we love him. We think he's great. Just touching on Camille for a second. Fuzz says, "Oh, Fuzz, yeah, recently into the Discord. Nice to see you. Welcome. I love that they added her big jump to the show intro, and I miss that. I got to go back, and I have a tendency to watch it late, and I fast forward to where I want to be. So I guess it's the coast to coast that I meant with the garbage can. Okay, that's awesome. That is really good. And Willie says, hey, like some of the people that Camille hasn't wrestled and perhaps could: Vipress, Ruby Reyes, Jordan Grace, Heather Monroe, Jessica Havoc. So there are some names out there who are credible. But the last one coming out of, let's see this. Silas has done the Indies and traveled to the U.S., but he's never been on any other major televised program. Right. And I strongly encourage everyone to see a slightly different side of Silas on Joe Kazana Promotions, available on YouTube. I agree. Yeah, we should try to find a link for that and throw that up. Welcome, Fuzz. What was I going to say? Oh, the last one that's signed right now for NWA 312 is, of course, the World's Heavyweight Championship title match between your challenger, two-time national champion, the Masterpiece Chris Adonis, and your undefeated World's Heavyweight Champion, the Manchester Tires, Dave. Doesn't seem like, I mean, I always have mixed feelings about at this time of length of time left before a pay-per-view. There's 3 weeks, but there's still a week leading up to that to give it a little bit more oomph, and I think it needs a little bit more oomph.
I'm looking for at least probably 9 or 10 matches. And I mean, hopefully in the next couple weeks, it manifests itself. I'm thinking, I mean, with Tyrus, depending on how long of a reign they're wanting to give him, I'm glad they're pushing Adonis, but Billy, for some reason, is pushing Tyrus. He has eyes on him, but I'm not sure if it's translating to more views for the NWA. But I mean, we'll see in Chicago. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean,
I'd like to see Adonis do something, being that when he was national champion, they were more holding pattern. Then he gave up the title, and then it was just, it was a strange run that he had. I'd like to see him have a good run with whether it be the 10 pounds of gold or back to the national title, or maybe find a tag partner. Who knows?
Yeah, I really would. I really would like to see the same. But we wouldn't know what kind of eyeballs are going on the NWA through Tyrus's cross promotional, ability. Poyo says my PWI correspondent Alter Higo flies to Tennessee tomorrow to record play-by-play on 4 episodes of Joe Kazana Promotions. Fantastic! That's amazing. Good for you.
Awesome.
My computer's a bit slow. Fuzz says, I would love to see Camille in a battle with someone, i.e. Flair versus Steamboat style. Find a good, solid heel. Max versus Markova is great. I watch him wrestle every week. Yeah, I mean, she had a great one. She had a banger with Max, like just on the last pay-per-view, right?
Yeah.
What have I missed here? Anything in the chat before we move on to the actual show? Willie says the Australian matches should give more international exposure. This is really like not being hyped up enough, as far as I'm determined by anyone other than the NWA fan. Like, hey man, we were just in Mexico, and it was solid by all accounts, right? Now they're going to Australia
for 10 shows.
For 10 shows.
Gally said that on Surge USA Saturday. I caught that they will be doing 10 shows in Australia.
I would just like to point out that those are 2 flags beyond the U.S. flag on the 10 pounds of gold that have now been serviced or will have been serviced by the National Wrestling Alliance. There is another one just north of you guys. We would have loved the NWA to show up here and do a show somewhere in Canada. Toronto, please. Poyo's got merch. It is a pre-sale. Cut and paste that one out and put that. I'll leave it in the chat bar here because we can't do it from the screen. But
I'm buying one as soon as we get off the stream, Poyo.
Wall banner, yeah, I've seen those things here. Hey, Carlton's here. Welcome, Carlton. Good to see you, buddy. All right, what have we gone over by? About 10 minutes. There is it's a good part for me to point out that there is a dog wrestling event on March 25th. So I've got Dave Scooby and I have like one show before, I think, that event. Is that right, Dave? And then we're gonna end up meeting up there. Yeah,
yep.
We got one more to go before we're there. We'll send some results and photos, and Jay Cal will be there, and perhaps the mysterious Jaden and Rick Del Santo of PWZ, and let me direct you over to Rick Del Santo's site just real quick. Rick is an amazing interviewer and correspondent. He covers the NWA. He covers all kinds of independents. He talks to independent wrestlers all up in the Northeast. Take a look at his site. Just mark this for a second.
PWZ Podcast with Rick Del Santo. For all your wrestling reviews, interviews, and news, Rick covers the United Wrestling Network, the NWA, and the Northeast region of the United States independent scene. PWZ keeps you in the zone.
Yeah, Rick's a friend of the Alliance. We're going to be seeing him up there and looking forward to that. Willie just points out here, I would love for the NWA to do some matches for All Japan Pro Wrestling, a former NWA Pro Wrestling affiliate. Would be cool. Poyo says, Thrilly and I are hoping to sell a shit ton of those banners to prove we're moneymakers for the boss. Yes.
I'm going to buy one.
Yeah, so is Sam. He must have this.
I must.
Maybe you can take the place of this fine gentleman back here. That cost me a lot of money, a ridiculous amount of money, more than I should have paid. Anyway,
going to buy this and hang it up for my granddaughter because she is Puyo's biggest fan.
Fantastic. That's great. And let's talk about NWA Surge, Saturday, March 11th. From on your TV set, the NWA USA, well, the Surge version or the debut essay, but this show starts with, Joe Galley in sort of an out of arena setting from his podcast studio, where he talks about how he's just finished some of the 33 podcast episodes with Billy Corgan around the the music and the pumpkins and all that good stuff, and that Kyle Davis and Danny Deals and Candy are going to be hosting this week, which proves to me, I think, guys, as the show goes along, to be something of a blessing. It was very refreshing for me to hear this stuff. You're laughing at this, aren't you?
I so am.
What was this yesterday? I got a text from Alex Taylor. He said, "I'm kind of pissed. You're my girlfriend's favorite part of the NWA." I mean, I kind of thought I would be, but that's hilarious.
It bees that way sometimes.
Yeah, it's just a great team. It's such a good pairing. Listen, it's no Tim Storm, it's no Velvet, it's no Joe Galley. It's gonna be Kyle, Danny Deals, and Candy. Candy, you didn't speak for a season or two and started speaking in this year, and she's great at it. My God, no problem whatsoever. I have missed some stuff in the chat, apparently. I did. I'm sorry, Carlton. If Adonis wins, it'll be good for the NWA as a whole. Talking about 3-1-2. He travels and wrestles in a lot of different areas. If he was defending the 10 pounds of gold, make the NWA bigger. That's the hope. Great point. But let's talk about this show. So we go into a match where we see Pretty Empowered 2.0. That's Ella Envy and Roxy versus JC Love and Ruthie J. You may say, who?
Yep.
But this is a debut show for many, many faces. Like I said, there's some great banter right from the start from this group at the desk. Deals is just in character. Like you can tell he's a shyster throughout the whole show. It's great. Look, there's equal going, and I made more rather than move for move, just sort of general comments for this show. Equal going and matching outfits, Dave. Matching outfits from both teams, which is neat to see. Roxy looks like a full, Pretty Empowered member. Ella plays her classic heel bit. She looks great. Deals mentions the Freebird rule, and I thought that was cool. We've been talking about that. Ella's just so good at being a loud, obnoxious heel. There's eye rakes on the ropes when she takes control. Ruthie J, I thought, was an excellent young talent and very innovative in some of the moves that she does. But Roxy and Ella win relatively clean in this one. I don't know how to call what a reverse backstabber, a belly stabber. Like it was
so brutal looking, wasn't it?
Yeah. It's a double team finisher where they kind of do a double team backstabber to the belly. If anyone's got a name for that one, let us know. What'd you think, Jeremy?
I really enjoyed this match. I liked that, like you said, that they had the gear. They both look like tag teams together, which we know Pretty Empowered is, but we're just meeting these two and as a team, and it was really good. They seemed to have really good chemistry together. It felt. I'm excited to see if we get to see more of them. I know one of them we had seen on an episode of Power, I believe.
Yeah, you're right. Ruthie J. Right?
Yeah, Ruthie J. Yeah. And she impressed me in that match as well. To see her with the tag team, if this is where she's going, if she is going to stay in the tag team, that's awesome. And her that pairing together, I think, will be a great addition.
Yeah, she got she looked really good against Camille, but eventually, obviously, got put down just like everybody
Yeah.
else. She had a good showing. Um, Hoyle says Ruthie's partner this episode. I'll tell you now, looks like Nancy Benoit. That's JC Love. I didn't see that connection, but I'll look back at that again. There is that similar look, there isn't it, to that
That's
woman.
why she did look familiar, but it wasn't clicking. And now, yeah. Yeah.
Maybe it's a similar background. I don't know. Deals is also a nitwit because he mentioned the Freebird rule when Kyle mentioned PE 2.0 were former tag champs. Apparently, Deals was shystering when the ladies won and then lost the belts. Yeah, he covered that up pretty good though. I thought I forget what he said, but it was something about like Medusa must have been out or cut my feet or something.
Yep.
Something
a
like
lot
that.
got blamed on Medusa.
Yeah, Dave, what'd you think of the new faces in this match?
I liked it. It's keeping the new team on a winning streak, but also keeping them strong for a possible rematch down the line. And the new girls, I thought they did very well. If they're not a regular tag team, I could see where some communication breakdown would go. But I mean, overall, I mean, it was a good look for both teams.
Yeah, I thought so too. I thought out of the well for JC Love and Ruthie J, I thought they both looked pretty equally, impressive. I really liked the innovative stuff that Ruthie J had.
Yeah.
Poyo's got me thinking of Nancy Benoit now. Obviously, a woman, the former manager of Doom and connected to so many other. Obviously died tragically, killed in the tragic Benoit incident. When I was a teenager, she was the one on my wall. Like at that age, you could keep your bottle blondes. Woman was number one for me.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Beautiful, beautiful woman. We're back with Galley after that. He talks about how a portion of NWA 312 proceeds will go to victims of the mass shooting on the July 4th Highland Park shooting, right?
Yeah.
Which is great and very nice to hear. We then get Dirty South, a tag team with a name, Dirty Devin Diaz and Big Brian Brock versus Chico Adams and the Real Drago.
Yeah.
Sort of a Russian harkens back to Rocky IV, I must crush you kind of stuff. So Brian Brock has that. I noticed, just picking up points rather than go kind of move by move here, but he has those classic Southern NWA Dusty Rhodes Magnum TA Phoenix boots, those red and white things that I wanted so badly. Where would I have worn them? I don't know. I never got them, but they are the coolest boots of all time. So he's wearing those.
Great.
Yeah. There's a good double team by Dirty South as they end up working the arm of Chico, I think. Drago and Brock exchange some shoulder blocks, so we're seeing a drop kick out of Brock, and he's a big boy, so showing the agility and the strength. Chico kind of takes a sloppy heart attack variation.
Yeah.
But hey, it's a debut. What do you want out of a brand new tag team? Drago makes that save. They tag. They're working Diaz's leg. There's a hot tag to Brock. As I say, he shows that the agility with the big boots. He's doing a power slam or two. Drago blocks another heart attack and slams Diaz down. Just slams him down for the pin. Afterwards, they do a bit where Chico and Drago push each other, and they're on the same team. I thought was generally unnecessary for the debut, unless we're going to be instantly going to a feud with these two guys that I know nothing about, and for that reason only, I don't care anything about yet.
Right.
For me, for me, Dave, Drago and Brock, big Brian Brock probably looked the best out of the two, but I guess that's why they're here. They're in the NWA. They're going to learn some skills and get better. What did you think?
I thought overall it was a good match. I'm not sure if they're regular tag team partners. Talking about Brian Brock and Devin, they worked pretty well together. If they are a regular tag team, they did have some tag team moves. So of the two teams, I did like them, but you can't go wrong with a Russian,
right?
And all I was thinking, I'm like, oh wow, where's Nikolai when you need him? Where are the new Koloffs?
Yep.
Yeah, the Koloff dynasty. Yeah.
I said, bring them back, and you have your tag team plus a singles wrestler, and I mean, you have Nikolai as the manager / talker for the group. And I'm like, well, there could be some money there, but I mean, overall, it wasn't a bad match. It wasn't a good match. It was an okay match, being that they're all new to the NWA eyes.
Yeah.
That I mean, you could have wrestled for 10 plus years, but if you've never been on TV, it's something that's very different.
Mm-hmm.
You have to play to the crowd. You have to play to the camera. It's not just, hey, we're going out there and we're wrestling. If we mess up, we mess up. No, you do your best to do your best.
Yeah.
And I mean, overall, I'd give it maybe a 6 out of 10. There were sloppy parts, but these are new wrestlers to the NWA. So I'm cutting them a little slack.
And this was the right show for them to debut on.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
definitely.
Jeremy, do you know any of these guys? Did you look up any of these four gentlemen?
I was able to find out a little bit about the real Drago. He was trained by Ken Anderson, Natalia Markova, and Brian Idol.
Okay.
He's that on his Facebook page, it listed him as 2021 starting, so he's still fairly new. I like the look. Like Dave said, you can't go wrong with a Russian in wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it almost seems like you have to have that type of persona in wrestling in the United States. You know,
heel.
Yeah, you know, and it plays so perfect. And I liked whenever he did the double clothesline. You know, I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't expecting him to hit that. I was expecting them to go, oh no, this dude's huge and I'm not a small guy. We're knocking you down. And instead he pancaked both of them. You know, it made him look really strong.
Yeah. I agree. Poyo's put something up here. By the way, bleedingcool.com, why Nancy Benoit deserves to be in the WWE Hall of Fame opinion. Interesting. And got some Twitter statuses, which please look those. That's if you're in the chat. There's a bunch of you. Please look them up. That'd be great.
Yep.
Fuzz has agreed on that. The context of these matches being intro matches was appropriate. Almost like tryouts. I wouldn't mind that as a regular thing when they go to new territories.
Yeah.
Yep. So Poyo was saying what they're showing us is it's JC versus Nancy in terms of physical comparisons.
Okay.
So, yeah. You know, even I haven't looked it up yet. I got too many things to click on right now, but I can see it in my mind's eye now that you've brought it up. So for these teams, we'll see what happens. Like I say, there was that shoving bit at the end between the winners.
Which was kind of weird. I didn't get that either. It was unnecessary unless unless this is how we're going to learn more about these characters moving forward.
Yeah, Chico Adams, I looked up and he had wrestled everywhere.
Yeah.
He had been absolutely everywhere. the most distinct tights I've seen in a long, long time.
Yeah.
Look like they were made from MJF scarf, right? But
Yeah.
anyway, I absolutely love the opportunity for these young talents to get a debut match against each other, a chance for one to maybe build some momentum. Some of these kids have real potential.
Yeah.
Yeah. Joe Galley's up. He's back again from the podcast studio. He says 10 shows in Australia coming up with the World is a Vampire Festival tour. I don't know what this means for tapings. Poyo, if you know, please let us know. Are they taping these shows, or if you're allowed to say, or have either of you guys heard anything? Anyone in the chat about are we taping these shows? Yeah,
I haven't heard anything about that yet, but I wouldn't be surprised.
It would be a lost opportunity, right?
Yeah, if you're going to do 10 shows, you might as well tape them.
Yeah, Dave.
I mean, depending on how they do it, I'm not sure it's going to be as long concert-wise as the one in Mexico. But even if you do a 45-minute break for wrestling, or if you do 2 30-minute breaks for wrestling, however they end up doing it, tape everything and then decide who you're going to use, what matches, if you're going to televise them, if they're going to be extras for view on the channel. But I mean, you have 10 different opportunities in different areas, unless they're doing several concerts in a row at one place. Use your talent plus the talent that's already there in Australia. And I mean, you can use it as a back catalog to highlight either incoming talent or your existing talent.
Right.
Whether they use it or not, it's an opportunity to expand the NWA product.
I agree. Poyo says she's fairly certain portions of these shows will be taped and broadcast, and that we have 2 sets of tapings in Chicago after 312, which should take us sometime during that tour. Then those shows plus Mexico, it could be more than enough to take us to the next pay-per-view, which I know dates for but cannot say. We respect that. Yep. I think what everyone kind of worries about is, Fuzz is saying, I don't mind them taped, but we need to keep the stories in heat. And it'll be interesting to see if they're able to do that on this new kind of, we're worldwide, going all over the place. And why not? They should be able to do so. We go to Samantha Starr versus Woad, the weapon of ass destruction, the one-eyed, thick-thighed weapon of ass destruction. Okay.
Hell of a name.
Yeah. So the eye patch right off the bat, and then it came out later, but I was already looking it up online, like blind in one eye apparently. Okay. So Woad and Starr start evenly. The arm bars and headlocks, lots of strikes and kicks between them. Starr does that bit where she locks you up with her legs, turns you over, and grinds the face into the mat, slams the face into the mat. You be careful of the way I'm phrasing things. There's a missed bulldog by Starr and a big kick to the back of the head by Woad that looked fairly solid.
Yeah.
And Poyo says she's legitimately blind. Wears it all the time. It's who she is. Worked with her about a year ago in Dallas. So good to know.
And they made comments about that too.
Yeah. There is a what in my teenage years in wrestling in the backyard, so to speak, an ass blast on the ropes in this what is generally a big sloppy affair, and then a misrunning ass attack. I don't have proper names for these particular moves yet. Starr hits the Starstruck DDT. I didn't love this one, and I may be in the minority, and that's okay. Wasn't a big fan of what I saw here today. Or Saturday? What did you think, Dave?
Overall, I mean, it wasn't a bad match, but I'm not sure if they've either not worked together or there was miscommunication. It seemed clunky at some times.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's building up Samantha Starr, who has been with the NWA for a while. It's building her up. We're down the line as they are getting a TV champion, a woman's TV champion. So she's climbing the ladder to get back into contention for whoever wins. I like that they are building some of the talent back up, and Woad being new to the NWA, it doesn't hurt her in taking a loss, being that she has really no vested interest yet. But we'll see where it goes. I mean, it's one of these things of this being on USA. It wasn't bad, but I'm glad that they're showing new talent and actually trying to build up some talent in these matches.
Yeah. Jeremy, what did you think of Woad? And I have to just drop off for a very brief emergency for a moment. I'll be right back.
Okay. I like the character. I think I agree with what Pollo said in the chat here about thinking that they could both benefit from working with a ring veteran. Samantha is still fairly new to the business as well. So I think that's where some of the clunkiness came in. But overall, I agree with Dave. It was a good match and it served its purpose. You know, it is helping to push Samantha further up the ladder, and it was a good introduction to Woad as well. She didn't come out of it looking weak or anything in her loss. So I'm excited to see where this goes moving forward. I liked how the commentary did bring into the fact that she is blind in that one eye, and they made comments about the depth perception and stuff like that. So, you know, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, it's I guess it is what it is. I guess we'll, you know, as we say, this is a debut for some of these people and or for everyone in the NWA, and this is what we're here to do. Mike, where's Mike? Apologies for having to jump off there. As a pet owner, sometimes it sounds like your animals are doing stuff they're not supposed to be doing. We have a cat who's very dog-like, and she likes to carry things around and scream until you throw it for her. So it was fine. Mike says we need to know where this will go with Pollo and Thrilly since the TV promo, especially after beating Kratos. NWA needs to provide some answers or have Thrilly kick EC3's ass. No complaints there. Pollo says, I think that both of these ladies can benefit working with a ring veteran. Scooby, stop moving the mic around. You know what you got to do? You got to have like if you live with somebody, you got to turn the camera and like have somebody standing in the corner facing the wall. Spoiler alert! 25 years later, Samantha's been around for a while, but I think she second guesses. Woad is also experienced, but working vets will elevate each. Yeah, I would agree. I think that's a good comment about Samantha Starr.
Yeah,
it must be intimidating working with some of the people around there who have been doing this for so long and really know their stuff, especially coming from her, you know, her pedigree. And,
right.
You know, and really what maybe I don't know her. Maybe she feels she has to live up to that. I don't know. She's doing fine. Can't ever complain about added depth to the women's roster. No, we can't.
Sure can't.
Joe Galley tells us that at NWA 312, The women's TV title finals would be highlighted. Try to convince my wife to go to that. I don't think it's going to happen. But we go to Daisy Kill versus Rush Freeman, who has a taped leg. Poor Rush Freeman. He deserves better. What's that?
Can't catch a break.
Yeah, it's true. Just back to Samantha or Topoyo. I think Samantha's very concerned about living to that pedigree. Third gen on both sides. Yeah. That's tough. I remember Bobby Orr, widely considered one of the top 3 hockey players of all time, saying on TV once, saying none of his kids ever played hockey because they didn't figure there was any point in even trying to live up to dad's, shadow or his level.
Yep.
So just credit for doing what she's doing, and I think she's doing fine. But Daisy Kill versus Rush Freeman, like I say, poor Rush. He gets hilariously maligned on online all the time, but he deserves better than this. He actually looks really good in much of this match. He has an arm drag. He's hip tosses. There's a spin slam of sorts. He does the dance. Daisy. He does a Thez press that Daisy catches into a nice spine buster, and he starts working that leg that is the tape leg. Look, Rush looks better in this than I've seen him look in a long time, and I like Rush Freeman. I want him to continue to develop and get better. But he just deserves better than the outcomes that happen in matches that he's involved in. Anyway, Kill mocks the dance, the spectacular dance, hits a neck breaker for a 2 count. Rush is hurt, but he makes a comeback. There's a belly to belly. Like I say, looks better and more polished than he has been in the past. You can see where he's improving and learning. He seems to sort of lose it in a translation for the story of this match that I didn't quite get. It didn't really make a lot of sense to me. As he mounts Daisy Kill and he just starts throwing fists. And then Daisy he seems to be distracted by Rolando, Rush does, and kind of stops losing it and goes over and, takes a piece of advice, even though he's winning, and walks back into a small package that he walks right into. And he bends down and rolls for it, and it looks terrible, and it's a weak ending. And look, I like I say, how many times can I say it? I want more for Rush Freeman down the road. He's a big guy. This was not a good match. Jeremy, what did you think?
I don't know what that ending was. I don't know what happened there, but it was bad. I did not care for it. Rush looked great throughout the match, like you said. And I'm right there with you. I want him to move up that ladder in the NWA further, and go after some gold. But it's like every time he walks out the door, that pigeon is right there on the wire, ready to shit on him. He can't win for losing. And Daisy Kill is an interesting looking figure. I mean, that hair, good Lord, that was a lion's mane of hair. And yeah, I definitely, whenever I think it was Danny made the comparison to he took Daisy Kill because Van Hammer was already taken. And I immediately saw Van Hammer and just went, oh God, I hope he's better than that fucking piece of shit. And he was a lot better. But another great addition to the roster, I feel,
Yeah, I think he had more of an upside, Dave, than an immediately observable upside than some of the other talent that we saw debut today. What did you think?
Well, when I first saw him, all I could think is Randy the Ram.
Oh! Wow.
If you know,
really
you know.
good.
He's a younger version. I mean, the hair, just the swagger, but it's one of these things of, I was like, what is up with this? Why is a NWA talent losing to somebody we know nothing about besides last week? Ding, ding, ding. He interfered in a match, and I wonder if Trevor's going to do anything. That's one of the reasons I think he went over in this match. Give him a little momentum. I believe he and Trevor are going to be in Chicago.
Yeah.
Whether the Chicago street fight or just Trevor's going to take out his aggressions on somebody who interfered in his match. I haven't had a chance to look up and see the history of Daisy Kill, but I'm all for new talent coming in, and even if they use him for the pay-per-view plus the tapings, he'll be around for the next 4 to 6 weeks. That's a good thing. On the other hand, with Rush Freeman, it's time to just lose Rolando. He's lost his shine. They either need to build the Spectaculars back up as a credible team or have them go their separate ways.
Interesting. I think Pollo is saying maybe that's for Rolando. I don't know. Look, highly unpopular opinion amongst the Alliance group. Out of Brady, everyone's got a strength out of those three in the Spectaculars, right? Rush hasn't realized his yet. Like, I feel like when they're like, okay, we need to build up Daisy Kill so that he can take on Trevor in a preliminary match at 3-1-2. Who can we put him over? They look around the room, and I swear to God, Rush has got to start ducking behind the furniture. Like, He can't keep. This is for the comment above for Daisy Ditch Beast Mode immediately. Yeah, that's because I just hope we don't see any more of that dunce mode guy. Mike is saying that was with Daisy. My God, that looked horrid on TV. 7'4" doesn't have to look good.
From what I understand, we will not be seeing any more of him at all.
Yeah, apparently he's gone.
Creative differences.
Sure, yeah. Don't let the door hit you.
Yep.
So I don't think Russ has realized, and I think he's got a long way to go. I just don't want him to lose every single match. I'm not saying he needs to be given titles or pushed up the card. It's just if there was an 8-man tag, 14, like 4 teams in the ring, right? 8 guys, they're like, okay, we're booking this thing. I don't care who they are. If the Spectaculars are in it, Rush is getting pinned. Brady looks like a. Did you do that or did I do that? Brady looks like a. Oh my God, Brady looks like a $1 million, and he's, I think, the Wildcat heavyweight champion right now as well, right? But I'm telling you, unpopular opinion. Out of the 3 of them, the largest upside is Rolando.
I have to concur there. He is the most entertaining of the 3, unfortunately.
So Willie said the Dwarf in the Spectaculars is taking away their credibility as a legitimate tag team in the NWA. No, he's not.
They kept referring to him as Tattoo.
Yeah, that's
so disrespectful to Herbert Velasquez.
God, I'm off. I lost my track. All I can think of is the plane. Yeah, look, hey, Brady starring as Michael PSA's in the Iron Claw movie, the Von Erichs movie. That's great. Thrillbilly is Bam Bam. Get the fuck out of here. That's amazing.
You love to read it, don't you, bro?
Holy shit, that's good. Pardon my language.
If that's not if he is not Bam Bam Terry Gordy reincarnated, then what is he?
Yeah. But anyway, like why Rolando has the greatest upside isn't that I mean, it's unpopular because I haven't clarified maybe that I don't want to see him in the ring. I don't think he has any business being in. I'd love him in the manager role.
Yep.
I love him as they had that on Power. They talked on the mic. He did all the talking. He sounds great.
Yeah.
If you were a foot taller and 100 pounds heavier, there wouldn't be a problem here. But like that's his gimmick, guys. And if you keep him out of matches, if you have him like slide in with a chair and ding somebody and out he goes, what's the problem, right? There isn't one.
If you keep Rolando as the little yipping chihuahua in between the two bulldogs, the two pit bulls that he's got, it works perfect. You know, him in the manager role is, I think that's right where he should be.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I got sidetracked completely there because I just want to see this movie.
Yeah.
Which I think has
Zac Efron.
Yeah. Oh, that is amazing. Rolando has more charisma than many guys 5 times the size. I agree. He's an attraction.
Yeah.
He's
definitely an attraction.
But the way that Tyrus treated him is the way he should be treated in the ring by everybody. Yeah, MJF as Lance, right?
Yeah.
So that's going to be really, really fun. Willie asks, are the Country Gentlemen the rechristening of Blackjack Mulligan and Blackjack Lanza? No.
No. God, no.
Carlton says if they let Rolando just be manager, it would be cool because he can talk. And have him in full attire and cutting promos. What do you think, Dave? Dave, you think I'm wrong, and I want you to tell me I'm wrong because that's what you think.
You're not wrong.
Oh, damn it, Dave. Give it to me. Come on.
Okay. You're not totally right.
Fair enough.
Rolando is doing what they're allowing him to do. And they're pushing him until you finally get so tired of him that you don't want to see him anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
As a manager / wrestler, he's doing what he's allowed to do or what they're telling him to do. He can talk for the other guys. The other guys, not saying that they can't talk, but Rolando gets more of a response out of people.
Yeah.
When you have the little guy with the Napoleon complex, he's going after anybody and everybody that either doesn't agree with him or talks down to him.
Mm-hmm.
Or even if they agree with him, if they don't agree with him the correct way, sorry. It's one of these things of it's better to use him than lose him. I personally would take him out of the wrestling when he is a manager. He's better as a manager than he is a wrestler.
100%.
That he's taking basically the shine away from the spectaculars because he's been given the opportunities that he's been given, whereas the spectaculars are used more or less as just enhancement.
Right.
And both these guys can wrestle. Why not give them a chance?
Yeah.
But it's one of these things of whether it's Billy or whoever is doing the creative, they've struck gold in their eyes with Rolando. So they're just pushing him until you're so sick and tired of him that you either turn the TV off or I'm not sure how any ramifications would come back to the NWA of quit using this guy. So it's one of these things of while you have him, use him, but use him to a minimum and help him help the team.
Yep. Yeah, I agree.
Pull back on some of his actions. Whereas, okay, why he's out there as a quote unquote manager, but why is Rush running over to his little brother, little big brother, to get advice, and then he gets rolled up?
Yeah,
it's just one of those things of make more sense.
Yeah.
It does make sense that, oh, you took your eye off the ball and you got what was coming to you. But storyline wise, I see where they're going in that Daisy Kill got in Trevor's way, and now hopefully it'll be taken care of, and who knows, maybe the Spectaculars or Rush will go after Daisy Kill after Trevor's done with him. That maybe they can build either a tag team story out of it or just a revenge story out of it. Who knows?
You know, he reminds me, look, greatest tag team in professional wrestling, I don't care what anyone says, it's the Midnight Express with Jim Cornette. My favorite version of that, I like many versions of that, are Stan Lane and Bobby Eaton. And watch these guys, NWA US Tag Team Champions, World Tag Team Champions. You got Jim Cornette, a young Jim Cornette. Forget about Jim Cornette now. If you don't like him, that's fine. Jim Cornette was an attraction. He spoke for that team. He did basically all the speaking for that team. He did nothing but speaking for that team, you know, and he was Mama Cornette said, and I got the money and I got these boys and we're coming for you, Road Warriors, or whatever. He's an attraction. But if he did anything more than try to hit someone with a tennis racket, he got his ass kicked. The man broke his leg falling off a scaffold, right?
Yep.
Like, that's how you use Rolando. You can make him the center of attention just like he is right now. Let him speak because he can speak for those guys if they're not so good at it yet. And just keep him out of the wrestling, as you say. I couldn't agree more. Listen, we're going to talk more NWA in a few minutes, but we got to go over to our friend Jeremy with his special championship wrestling from Jeremy Reports, a United Wrestling Network.
I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
United we stand. The following is a presentation of the United Wrestling Network.
It's time for championship wrestling from Jeremy.
Going to hear from David Marquez one day going, why is my voice on your show? I love you, Mr. Marquez.
Yes, love you bunches, man. We start out with Memphis Wrestling, and we've got part 3 of the Super Bout 2. I am going to be changing up my format a little this week and moving forward. Once Derby City Wrestling starts up, I will just be giving you my match of the week at that point. You will just get what I liked from Memphis or Hollywood on here. I will give you the match of the week. If you want a recap, you can come over to my YouTube page and I will give you a full recap on there along with an interview.
Perfect.
But we start out with Memphis Wrestling Super Bout 2, part 3 of 3. The first match that we get is Maurice the Strong with Barnabas the Leader. And I like these guys a lot. Barnabas the Leader is just captivating. I don't know what it is about him, but I really like this pairing against Kid Wrestling. And this match was over before it started. As soon as Kid Wrestling held his hand out, he basically got pinned at that point. He tried to get in some offense, made a valiant effort, but it was to no avail. Maurice the Strong locks in the claw on Kid Wrestling's hand and picks him up and just slams him to the mat. And then stands over him defiantly with one foot on his chest and his arms crossed for the 3 count. We then get a little segment with Dustin Starr and Matt Williams and Storybook Prince Gaston. Matt Williams says that they have been employed by Ellsworth Enterprises to clean up the women's division in Memphis Wrestling. And Williams states that they're going to start with Nyx next, as Prince Gaston has a match with her. And we go to that. Nyx won via disqualification on this after Matt Williams interfered and hit her with a chair as she was getting the upper hand on Storybook. So I don't think that they're necessarily concerned with winning by actual victories, just winning by whatever means necessary to clean up the women's division for whatever reason that you would hire two guys to do a woman's job for this. Just okay.
Couldn't care less about that storyline at all.
Right. We then we move to one that I am starting to get interested in. We get a segment where Bulletproof Bruce and a cameraman for some reason are in a bathroom together.
Like, why is he in there?
Right.
He's clearly just finished going to the washroom.
And Bulletproof Bruce is washing his hands, and there's a knock on the door, and Bulletproof Bruce turns around and immediately looks down. Didn't look for anybody, immediately looked down. But anyways, there is another pamphlet from the Church of Reverend Ash Taylor.
Right.
And Bruce looks at it and then opens the door and looks around, and of course no one's there. You know, it was the spirit that left that.
That's right. Hallelujah.
But I am interested to see where this goes with this whole Church of Ash Taylor thing. It's so ludicrous that I'm invested.
Yeah.
It's like an ugly pair of bowling shoes. I just have to have them. We then get Geo Savage and Draco, not Drago,
right,
or Drago, versus the LA Hustlers. It was a good, solid match. I enjoyed it. Draco ends up landing a scissor kick on Roughshod and gets the pin for the 3. Mm-hmm. We then learn that Memphis will get lucha lit when Lince Dorado heads to town. I hope the police don't pull him over. He smokes that loud. He smokes louder than I do, and my shit is loud.
All right.
We then get a Memphis Tag Team Championship match between champions The Posse versus Derek the King and Ray Sanders, your number one contenders. Ray Sanders and Derek the King end up coming out victorious, but due to countouts, so they don't get the belts. Just sad. Yeah, sad.
Lame.
Sad.
This is super bad. We waited like a month for this.
Yeah. Then we go to the Memphis Heritage Championship match between the number one contender K-Toomer and the Gunshow Brett Michaels.
And that's my report.
I learned how to do this thing yesterday. Jay Cal showed me Look, I love everything that you do, Dustin Starr, and Memphis Wrestling. I am there every Saturday. This was not good. The crowd hated it. K-Toomer was attacked by Maurice the Strong with a crowbar. And I put that loosely because that was the biggest damn crowbar I've ever seen in my life. Mm-hmm. So he won, but he didn't because the ref didn't see it, and the Gunshow got a pin on him.
Felt bad about it.
He didn't seem happy about it, but I don't know. The crowd definitely wasn't happy about it. I wasn't happy about it. Most of the people in the chat weren't happy about it. This was one that I felt that K-Toomer definitely should have won regardless. I think the attack should have just been another notch in the story of an obstacle for him to overcome to have won the title from the Gunshow. I think it would have just made him look that much stronger. Instead, I feel that he kind of came out looking weak in this.
Yeah. You got this whole build since the Grind City Rumble. You know, he had that great promo, K-Toomer, about how he's going to win it. That's when I fell in love with the guy.
Yeah.
And then, you know, weeks of stuff happening and the mutual respect between two baby faces and, you know, the guy who's a little bit older and the guy who's a little bit hungrier and, you know, the title in the middle. Then you get like this, I don't know, like this 6-minute piece of shit where nothing happens. And Maurice the Strong with a crook. Come on. It was just garbage. You know, the way the camera stuff is set up there, it's almost unfortunate because the main steady cam is pointed at that curtains in the back.
Yeah.
And you can see people throughout the show. They come in and out with their drinks and popcorn. It's distracting. But as that finish is happening and the pin's going down, they're just
in droves, and there's not that many of them in there to begin with.
Yeah, they're just leaving.
And they were gone.
Just like,
you know,
it's stupid. Yeah. Anyway, agreed. Not their best effort.
But next week is a new week, so we'll see what happens next week, and hopefully, I'm fingers crossed that this is not the end of K-Toomer's championship journey, and I'm hoping by their next big event that he's going after it and gets it this time.
For sure.
We then move to Championship Wrestling presented by Car Shield. And the opening match was Zeta Zing, as stated by Johnny LaQuasto last week. We get Zeta Zing versus Savannah Stone. This was a good, hard-hitting match between both women, both established in championship wrestling. And Zing ends up defeating Stone via disqualification after Stone used foreign object. Or international object now, whatever way you decide to go with this. But Halston Body tried to get a distraction for Savannah, and it didn't really work out to his advantage. But then after the match, the institution, Jack Banning and Honest John and Brenda Devine come out and welcome their newest member, Savannah Stone. So we are seeing more inmates coming out of the asylum, and I'm there for it. I like that. Oh wow, did we have 4 people on there?
We did. We can have 2 Scoobies. Oh, he's gone dark there now.
That's awesome. We then get Danny Limelight, who addresses his upcoming match with Zicky Dice. And while I love you, Zicky, I feel sorry for you, bro. The outlook does not. The 8-ball is saying outlook does not look good.
Yeah.
We then go to our second match with 24K, Michael Hopkins and Miggy Rose versus Jason Levi and James Brady. I didn't really catch a whole lot of this. I caught the end of it, and 24K came out victorious. There was a guy, Tweakazetti Cool, hanging out in the shadows, wanting to chill with the homies and be all cool guy and all that stuff. So I'm interested to see if maybe Guy Cool isn't trying to find a new tag team to link up with.
Yeah, he signed him. He signed him at the end of that segment.
Did he?
Yeah. They
awesome.
kind of went, what do you think? I don't know. I'm in. All right, we're in. He's like, yes, we're going to rule everything. So
awesome. Because he's another one that he gets in the ring and he does wrestle, but he's an attraction. He should be. He definitely works better as a manager.
Yeah.
I feel. Mm-hmm. We then go to Dom Kubrick versus Big Hoss. Halston Body came out again this time. Came out again during this match. And causes a distraction on Big Hoss and allowed Dom Kubrick to get the win. And then Sledge came out and attacked Big Hoss. And Halston has a new monster for his for his stable. He lost Lord Crew, 2 weeks ago now?
Yep.
And he quickly found a replacement in Sledge, and I'm here for it. Sledge is a great addition to Hollywood or Championship Wrestling, so I'm excited to see it. And pairing him up with Halston Body, I think, is the right way to go. We then get Johnny LaQuasto takes a look back at Bad Dude Tito's career and how he became the number one contender at the Red Carpet Rumble. Then we get an interview with the Final Destination. And then we go to our main event, which is the Wolf Zaddies and Beef Candy versus the Midnight Heat and the Institution.
What else do you want?
I mean,
Yeah.
the Wolf Zaddies and Beef Candy come out victorious on this. I'm excited to see where this goes now. I want all three of the teams to carry it, but I also want my Reno Scum to have their belts back, damn it. I want them to be four-time now. Four-time, the first four-time UWN Tag Team Champions. But I may have to hold my breath for a little bit. Until then, I love what the UWN is doing with their tag division.
Yep.
And that's a wrap for me.
Wow, that's it was an interesting week, and
yeah,
Hollywood was, I guess, Championship Wrestling was better than Memphis.
Yeah,
as we say, but there you go. Zicky maybe needs to do another to get things. I didn't read that the first time. Oh, I'm sorry I put that up, Mike. You shady gentleman. That's hilarious.
Oh, wow.
Oh. Well, thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. Let us go over now to this is me stalling as I try to find to our fantasy booker segment of the day. So, Dave, I respect you, Booker, man. Kerry Morton versus Barrett Brown. The title says, does it matter? Maybe tell people who Barrett Brown is and what he was all about.
All right. Barrett Brown is a former NWA Junior Heavyweight Champion. He never lost the belt. When Billy bought the NWA, his belt was one of the titles that they reclaimed and basically put on ice.
Right.
So until they brought the belt back, I'd say he's still the uncrowned champion because he never lost the belt. It just was reclaimed by the NWA. And he's wrestled roughly for about 13 years, starting back in 2010. But unless you followed the NWA back then or have followed some of the, I'm not going to say lesser promotions, but not the top promotions. He's wrestled for ROH. He's wrestled for Evolve. And of course, he was an NWA Junior Heavyweight Champion. Currently, he is working with New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong. But unless you're a historian and actually follow some of these promotions, Barrett Brown really isn't a household name. But he and Kerry have been bouncing back and forth about the title.
Yeah.
So Kerry versus Barrett on social media could be a thing, being that Kerry's 3 years into the business and he's basically healing it up for everybody else besides the NWA.
Mm-hmm.
So with the NWA history that Barrett Brown has as a former champion, I'd like to see them bring him in. The NWA needs to, I mean, they talk about history and tradition. Granted, it's not the Lightning One history, but Barrett Brown is part of the NWA history. If you're going to go back and reference Harley Race, if you're going to go back and reference some of the champions of old and reference the U.S. titles, tag titles, and former champions, why not bring him in?
Right.
I mean, he's currently 28 years old. He fits right in with, I mean, he's been wrestling for, I think, 12 or 13 years. He fits right in. He doesn't have to be full time. You can bring him in for a set of tapings, and he's there for a good 2 months.
And this isn't just us talking. Don't mean to derail you here. I'll give it right back to you. But, you know, we had mentioned before, wouldn't that be cool? In the same way if Cahagas, you know, came back and went after, I never lost my belts, or Barrett Brown went after the World Junior, the title that he had to vacate.
Mm-hmm.
And like we just talked about it, wouldn't that be fun? And then, of course, on social media, something appears to have happened on this as well, right? But
yeah.
But I mean, it's almost, I mean, social media is writing this for it.
Right.
It's a story that just has not been told. It's a former champion who never lost coming in to claim what is his. That if it wasn't for Billy buying the NWA, who knows if they'd be around.
Yeah.
But who knows if Barrett Brown still wouldn't be champion.
Yeah.
Who knows what would have happened. It's one of those what ifs. If Billy wouldn't have bought the NWA, what would have happened to the current champions? We may not be online talking about this because the NWA may not be the NWA. Who knows? But it's one of these things, use the past to tell a story. If you want to build Kerry up, have Barrett come in. I've watched some of his matches. He can go in the ring, but I really don't know what his, because I've just watched his matches. I really haven't watched his career. I don't know if Barrett Brown is a heel or a face, but it doesn't matter. He just has history with the NWA, and they need to dig some of that history back up. And if you want to make Kerry a strong champion, have him beat a former champion.
I really think it writes itself. It is writing itself.
Yeah.
And
if the NWA doesn't do this, then they need to find a promotion that will let them fight. Because, I mean, if you're wrestling outside of the NWA and Kerry is, the NWA needs to grab the attention when they can. It's almost like Matt Cardona. Yeah, we got him, but only after Game Changer had him. So we need to make the first step and get the attention on the NWA rather than letting someone else have a chance at this match or a series of matches. If they would do a best of 3, that'd be great.
It would.
Have him show up in Chicago and come out after Kerry has his match and say, hey, I challenge you for the title I never lost. If he can wrestle him one time at the tapings, and then if he can wrestle him at the next pay-per-view, or if by chance he could get on the Australian tour, I mean, it's sitting there for the NWA to use to its advantage.
Did I freeze up, or did you two guys freeze up? Oh, I think I might have lost you guys, Dave. Let me know if you guys in the chat can see me. It looks like I'm still bright. Oh, there goes Dave. So what happened?
No, I'm here.
Okay. What happened is, on at least on social media, is that there was a promotion. There you go, Dave.
Yeah.
I was just saying there was a promotion where the backstage interviewer had said, "Hey, Kerry, what about Barrett Brown?" And he kind of went, because he was doing his heel persona, which, by the way, he's much better at.
Oh, yeah.
He just kind of went like, "Barrett, who? Like, who is this guy? And, come and talk to me." And it seems like, well, why do that if they weren't going to do it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, there's Dave. Yeah. Yeah, man. So I wanted to comment on this just at the end of your thing here, and to say the NWA, it talks about history and tradition, and that's where they like to put themselves. But they're also broadcasting on a social media platform like YouTube, and it's in terms of the wrestling market, it's almost kind of cutting edge to be streaming rather than doing something on traditional, cable platforms. So you've got the new and you've got the old, and it seems like a perfect marriage. You've got the old champion and the new champion in the new environment, driven by like the wave of social media. I think it's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
So you would pull this trigger in the NWA?
I myself, if I was booking, I'd bring him in and I'd have I don't know if you do a best of 3 or a best of 5 series.
Yeah.
But have different types of matches. Maybe, you have your singles match, but if you're doing like best of 3, maybe do a 2 out of 3 falls to actually promote the style of junior heavyweights, whereas they aren't the big powerful guys that they're powerful in their own way, but they're more of the cruiserweight type, high flying. Because if you've ever seen any of Barrett Brown's matches, he can go in the ring. And I think Kerry working with him would be a benefit.
I agree. The chat has some positive comments too. Mike says, "I'd much rather see Barrett Brown than Kerry Morton. I know he's indie famous. Talk about Kerry, but I'd still rather see Brown." Brown versus Minoru Suzuki was a decent match, and I don't even like Suzuki. Sam wonders why Barrett Brown never returned after NWA 70. And I know that from what I saw from his account on Twitter, it was it just didn't happen. He wasn't part of that group that made it into kind of the Lightning One era.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know why that is. There are some what ifs though. These might be good fantasy booking stuff for you. Good material. What if Dave Marquez had bought the NWA? Willie asks. What if Dave Marquez ran the show? Wow. You think about that's probably something for another day, but think about the production value around that. And
I bet we probably wouldn't have seen a gimp.
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably true. Well, what if Brown won't take the loss? Well, if he won't take the loss, I don't think there's a match because I don't see him going over. What do you think, Dave?
It's one of those things of he's been in the business long enough that he realizes, hopefully, that it's a payday for him. It's a chance for him to be seen again. He's doing New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong, but they're having a somewhat of a shakeup over there.
Right.
So he's not guaranteed anything.
Very true.
If he could come back, he could be used. I'd just like to have anybody that has never seen one of his matches, just go to YouTube and type in Barrett Brown, NWA Junior Heavyweight Champion. and there's several good matches that come up. Not all of his matches were Meltzer 5-star matches, but he can go in the ring, and if you put him in with the right people, a good story can be told. It's not always about, oh, I have to win the champion, or I have to win the championship, I have to defeat him.
Mm-hmm.
That he could build up his stock just in wrestling itself, his stock in the NWA, plus help build Kerry as a champion. And if they ever decide to go a different direction, you have a former champion right there.
And I think there's a great story, and even if he, there'd be a great story if he did go over.
Mm-hmm.
And just, you do this at 312 or one of the pay-per-views down the road, or just even like a power episode. And, this guy comes out and it's an upset win, or, he's in like, well, who is this guy and why does he get to do this? Well, I never lost it. So if I'm not champion, I get a rematch, right? I mean, that supersedes me having a contract here, doesn't it? I don't know. There's any number of things, but I think those are some awesome suggestions. And Mike says NWA can or needs to intro Brown back into the NWA. Have him wrestle a couple matches, tell a story in that, then a couple weeks later, carry mouth off to Barrett. I think they mouth off from day one. That's my belt. You have mofo. I don't know.
Either that, or what about Alonzo?
Yeah.
Hey, you don't want to give me a shot at that belt? I got somebody who should still be champion if it wasn't for the owner taking the belt from him. He never lost. I'd like to introduce you to my friend, Barrett Brown. Boom. Right in there.
There you go, man. And Mike says he was enjoying his dinner till you mentioned Meltzer's name.
I'm sorry.
He never wants to hear that name when he eats. Oh, poor Dave Meltzer. How the mighty have fallen, eh? But anyway, Sam was talking about Sam Retro about what if Dave Marquez had bought the NWA. I have never met Mr. Marquez. I just have respect for what he accomplished in and out of the NWA, but I think he would balk at that. I think he was the NWA for a significant period of time. I think he's been the NWA. I think he's not only looked way past the NWA now, I think he's looking past, and again, I don't know the guy. I don't talk to the guy other than on Twitter occasionally. I think he's looking past UWN, to actually, he said it, to a life beyond, active wrestling production, letting other people take the helm. So it would be interesting to see what it would have been like, but
yeah,
I don't know. Dave Meltzer, Willie says, is Vince McMahon's personal hand puppet. More like Tony Khan's, I think, but I see where you're going with that, my friend. Listen, guys, I think that's it for us. Is that the end of the show? That's the end of the show. We appreciate everyone being here. Jeremy, why don't you tell us where they can find you on social media and all the new fun, cool stuff you're working on?
You can find me over on Twitter at HJWOTS. You can also find me on YouTube at Wrestling with the MMA, where I just posted a new interview with the Alliance Blog's own starter, captain, NWA NWA. What's the words I'm looking for here?
Our personal world's heavyweight champion.
Yes, that's a good one. J-Cal.
Well, J-Cal. Of course it's J-Cal.
Your invite's in the mail, and so
is it? Yeah, I'll keep checking the mailbox. I'm not that interesting. Save your breath for somebody else.
We're all interesting, bro.
So that is youtube.com/ I believe at Wrestling with the MMA.
Yes.
Perfect. And you're on Twitter at
HJWOTS.
Great. And as he mentioned, he's going to change the format once Derby City starts, which is an exciting new venture around the UWN.
Yes.
And Dave, you I know that you often ask for fantasy booking. If anyone wants to hear anything, where can they find you?
They can hit me up on Instagram or Twitter at Dave Scooby. Both of them are open. So let me know if you have got any ideas. I'm looking forward to, it's not this week, but next week, we'll be heading to New Jersey. I'll be meeting Tim in real life, and we'll be hooking up with the boss man and Jaden for dog wrestling. I've been before. It's hometown wrestling. I'm looking forward to it. But also this coming week, I'll be heading to Philly. They have Icons of Wrestling during the day, and at night they have Battleground Wrestling.
Oh, cool.
And our own NWA Women's Champion Camille will be there defending her belt. So I'll try to get some pictures and possibly some video. But just looking forward to a couple weekends of wrestling again. So it's I'm itching to see some wrestling again. And then we got Chicago 312 coming up first weekend in April, I believe.
Nice. I live in this weird part of Ontario. It's like an hour outside Toronto, and there's lots of indie wrestling in Toronto, but like I avoid Toronto. It's like it's the fourth biggest city in North America, right? So it's like going to Chicago or to some degree New York. It's just you don't want to drive there. So I never get to see indie wrestling. The last time I went was probably 15 to 20 years ago. I haven't seen any indie wrestling in all that time. So I'm super excited about Dog in beautiful uptown rustic Glassboro, New Jersey on the 25th.
Yeah.
And yeah, actually I live in a town called Woodstock, and I think his name's Robbie McAllister from he's in the WWE as one of the Highlanders years ago.
Yeah.
He had when I first moved here, he had a promotion here, and I was like, this is going to be exciting. And then it doesn't run any shows, so there's nowhere around me to go. So it's very exciting to be able to meet you and everybody, Jay and Rick and Jaden and everybody else. I am at the Alliance Gold. My website has started to be redesigned. It also already looks slightly different. So all of my social media stuff are on that page, and I'm uploading the bio slowly. I gave away a NWA World's Heavyweight title replica a while ago. I'll tell you a very quick story. Very quick, so as not to bore anyone. I took it to work. I said, where's the bubble wrap? And the admin said, we don't have any. It's all on back order. I said, okay, let me know when it gets here so I can ship it out. I put it in a drawer, and I locked it up, and I forgot about it. So we've had bubble wrap for about 6 weeks. Anyway, my admin goes, are you ever going to take this belt thing away from the drawer? And I was like, oh my God. So it went out today to the winner, and it's been shipped. We'll get some pictures of him with that online. And we're going to do some more once he gets it, because I always wait till the person gets the prize. We can show it. Hey, look, they got it. And, we're going to do some other stuff. We have some smaller stuff just to give away. We'll do quick. I got an Alliance blog t-shirt that just didn't fit somebody here. I think actually that was Raluca. She wanted a better color, so I have to get her a different one. I have a signed title belt by Larry Zbyszko, the living legend.
Ooh.
With authenticity certificate. If you're a living legend Larry Zbyszko guy, like I am, you guys ever seen one of these before?
No.
This thing is incredibly hard. Mike always makes me laugh. I want that belt. I will kill for it.
Just kidding. Won't kill.
Well, yeah, that's what you needed to do to win. So I'm sorry. No. This thing is very rare. It's a child's play set. 10 pounds of gold child's play set from Impact.
Wow.
The belt that I gave, it comes with AJ Styles and Jeff Jarrett as little figurines inside.
Oh,
I have
wow.
so much of this stuff that we can go through over the months and years to come. I hope that we're still doing this. I'm look, the value is whatever, how much you love it. But if you look these things up online, they're worth a ton. Like you can, they're pretty primo. They're worth more than the belt that Kevin Court won. So I'm really excited to give it away. And we'll leave that as the big one that's coming up because it's so cool and rare and they're hard to get on eBay these days. So we got a few things coming up. That'll be fine. We are a production of alliance-wrestling.com, your number one source for news and entertainment around the NWA, at the Alliance blog on all of the socials. We thank you again for being here tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Pacific, or 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. It's the Alliance Guys podcast with J. Cal, with DKM, and with the mysterious Jayden, who we will meet on the 25th. They are coming with power and all of the latest information around the NWA, as only they can. And, of course, Jay himself, the focus of Jeremy's latest interview and his at Wrestling with the MMA account on YouTube. He hosts the Hour Before Power, the pre-party with J. Cal, the flagship of this whole network. Thank you all, everybody, and we appreciate you guys. Until next time, we'll see you at the matches.
Thanks for joining the stream. This has been a presentation of alliance-wrestling.com. We genuinely appreciate your support. Would you consider subscribing so you'll never miss a future episode? I'd also like to remind you we do a live stream every Tuesday at 5 p.m. before NWA Power. You can find us on social media at The Alliance blog. And until next time, we are The Alliance.